What's going on, guys? Welcome into the 3-7 Cleveland Browns report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with you all after the Browns' 31-23 loss to the Bills. And we're going to talk about the big question in Cleveland, right? Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry. How safe is their job? Oh, that was nearly a goal by Wales. Okay, I've also got the USA game on behind the camera, so bear with me if I drift off. But hot seat Kevin, right? Is Kevin Stefanski on the hot seat? This is always a loaded question because what does it really mean to be on the hot seat? Is it meaning the fans are upset? Is it meaning that ownership and Andrew Berry want to see an improvement? My issue is we're starting to see a pattern in the Browns' losses. It's one thing if they're inventing new ways to lose and they're making adjustments, but they're not. And I'll explain why in just a moment, but I was thinking about this morning, and I wanted to present it to you guys. What if the Browns didn't have Deshaun Watson coming to play in Week 13? I know that that's a big what if, but just kind of hear me out on this. If the Browns didn't have Deshaun Watson, what does Kevin Stefanski have to hold on to for a reason why he's got a job for at least another year in Cleveland, right? If the Browns lost in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, they already lost Baker, they could have easily said, all right, we're rolling with Brissett for a year as a bridge quarterback. If that was the case, the rest of this roster probably looks pretty similar. And I don't see why a reason we believe Kevin Stefanski's returning next year. Here's sort of a couple points I want to make on Kevin Stefanski. One, like it or not, he is tied to Deshaun Watson. Meaning, if you want to argue that Kevin Stefanski should be fired tomorrow, that's a fair argument to make. I'm going to rain down on your parade and say it's not happening for 4 reasons. And it's Deshaun Watson, right? Wearing number 4. That is why he's not going anywhere. He was instrumental. He was a huge part of getting him from Houston, and because of that, he's staying here. At least for the rest of this year and all of next year, I think. The Browns continue to fizzle out, though. That's the second point I want to make right now. They have great starts. The Dolphins game, the Bills, excellent starts. But their method of football of long drives over 4 quarters has not worked. It fizzles out. Teams know what to expect, and it's not sustainable. There's no big plays outside of a Nick Chubb run, which hasn't happened in a month. The third quarter, the last 6 weeks, by the way, coming out of the half, the Browns are being outscored 53-27. In the second half, over the last 6 weeks, they're being outscored 104-70. Those aren't jarring differences, but they're not good differentials, and I think it goes to show the Browns have had some good starts lately, but after that, when teams make adjustments, the Browns don't have an answer back. And Kevin Stefanski is a great offensive coordinator. He's got his offense with a backup quarterback rocking and rolling often. But he's not the offensive coordinator. He's the head coach. And the leadership skills, the ability to hold on to the locker room and not let players sort of dial off and start thinking about off-season golf, I think is lacking from Stefanski. I wanted to share something from Zach Jackson, who does a great job of covering the team with The Athletic, in his latest write-up. Zach said, if I had to guess, I'd say Stefanski and Berry will both be back for next season. But that's subject to change, and it might be dependent on December and January results showing that they each deserve to be back. That's different language than we have seen and heard the last couple of weeks, going from for sure to I guess and dependent. But speaking of Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, and we'll talk about AB in more length in a little bit later on in the video, who is more to blame in your eyes for this season, for this 3-7 record right now? Is it Kevin Stefanski or is it Andrew Berry? Put the initials for the person you want to put more of the blame on. This is the pinned comment, so go down and get your votes in. For me, I look at it this way. Watson's going to buy Stefanski time. This is just the truth of the matter. But Kevin Stefanski is showing major flaws that if it doesn't work out with Watson, and it's not like Deshaun Watson went undefeated every season in Houston, well, we will know where the issues lie, and that is his ability to hold on to the locker room, which I feel like is slipping away the last 2 seasons, and knowing that he's responsible for the defense and special teams here. Kevin Stefanski is more than just an OC, and there's more to being a head coach than just being responsible for one half of the football. Usually we talk about this with defensive-minded guys, where their defense is great, like Vic Fangio, but the offense, the U.S. had a corner, I thought they might score. But in this situation, it's the opposite. Great offense, most of the time. Not perfect, but that would change with Watson. There would be a big change too. But the defense, the special teams, that is severely lacking here. All right, today's Browns Report is sponsored by Established Titles. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to help preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as layers or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted, and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, etc. It makes a great last-minute gift too. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot within a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or a lady, we can build our own little Browns kingdom. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running a massive early Black Friday sale right now with discounts up to 80% off. Plus, if you use code CHAT, you can get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/chat to get your gift now and help support the channel. The link for that, by the way, is in the comments and the description of today's show. Going back to Kevin Stefanski and maybe sort of the grasp he has on this locker room, as Christian Pulisic just walked off, so I'm now terrified. Grant Delpit on how to fix the trust in the run game. In order to have trust, you have to know what you are doing. Oh, it looks like Pulisic's coming back on. All right, that's good. I mean, that's just not what you want to hear. People not having trust in Week 11? I pardoned some of these things in Week 1 and Week 2. Like, remember the blown coverage in Week 1 against Carolina? In Week 11, everyone has to be on the same page. Or if not, that falls on the coaching staff in my eyes here. Now, I have some optimism. I have some good news, if you will. There are some easy fixes. There aren't major problems to solve here. Replace Joe Woods. That's not a too daunting of a task, right? Replace Joe Woods, replace Mike Prefer, get a new special teams coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. Improve the defensive tackles. I know you don't have a first-round pick, but you're going to have an earlier round 2 pick. Use it on a defensive tackle, Mr. Berry. And Watson, he has to play at an elite level. He cannot come out and have a Russell Wilson-type start to the season where he's a little sluggish. No, Deshaun Watson, for the last 6 games, needs to show, improve, and be a reminder that he is a top 5 or whatever quarterback you want to say in the NFL, and he's going to remedy a lot of these problems. Those aren't big asks. They're really not. And it should, damn it, I almost scored. And it could show that this team next year will be rocking and rolling. All right, we're going to get to more on Andrew Berry in just a moment, but help us get to 15,000 subscribers before Thursday. What do we have? 14,642. We have been like a train, like a locomotive, moving down the path, but I want to get all the way to 15K, so make sure to subscribe if you have not already by the time Turkey Day rolls around. All right, let's talk about AB. Let's talk about Andrew Berry. Ultimately, Berry's defense, the one he built, right? The one that he put a lot of resources into, draft and free agency, is the downfall of this team. It's not the offense. Special teams isn't helping, but that's not what's holding this team back. It is Andrew Berry and I was a sheep for a little while in the offseason, buying into Myles Garrett and Clowney can elevate this run defense and we can get by with putting our needs elsewhere. No, defensive tackles is ultimately what is holding this team back the most because it is not allowing the linebackers to do their job and it's impeding the safeties to do their job. What could Andrew Berry have done? Could have signed Ndamukong Suh, who the Eagles did. And Suh in his first game with like 3 days of practice had a sack. Think about it. When was the last time a Browns defensive tackle had a sack? Jordan Elliott, like 3-4 weeks ago? I think the entire interior defensive line has a combined 2 sacks. Suh got half of that in one game. PFF gave him an overall grade of 78.0. What more did Andrew Berry have to see from Jordan Elliott, Tommy Togiai, Taven Bryan? Hell, Perrion Winfrey will toss him in too to show that they are not legitimate starting players in the NFL. I understand not wanting to bail on your guys 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks in. Oh, it's in the box. Damn it. Okay. But they suck. They suck. How do you not know that by now? And you could have done something about it. And to all of you that are going to say, Berry wants to roll the cap over. Guys, Ndamukong Suh in November is not going to break the bank. It's a very minimal impact on this year's cap and next year's cap. Now, earlier I said the defensive tackles is ultimately where, in my eyes, the hole starts on this team and where all the water starts guzzling out of. Because look at the Browns. Well, first off, on screen, thank you, Producer Patrick. Week 11 PFF grades. Ndamukong Suh, 78. The highest for any Browns player was Togiai, who played 11 snaps, by the way, with 53.4. But this is what I'm talking about. That the Browns' defensive tackles are holding back this team. Look at this team's leading tacklers all season. Grant Delpit's number 1. John Johnson's number 2. Your safeties are leading this team in tackles. Why? Because the defensive line's getting no push. The linebackers have offensive linemen on their shoulder pads from the moment the ball is snapped. And it's the safeties, the last line of defense, who have to bring a running back down to a halt after they've already picked up 10 yards. We're in the box. Okay, it's clear. But the point stands here, and this is true. Some teams have a safety as a leading tackler or two in the top 2, but to have both your safeties as your 1 and 2 tacklers, that's a bad sign that your box, your front 4, your front 7 is getting no push. Why? Because the offensive line is blowing past the defensive line. All right, I want to wrap up today's show with maybe some banter about Thanksgiving to take our mind off of a 3-7 football team. Turkey Day right around the corner. What is your favorite Thanksgiving food? Corners in. Oh, it's off. What is your favorite Thanksgiving food? Let me know in the comments section below. I have whipped out my 5 power ranking foods for Thanksgiving. Number 1 is turkey. I like dark meat. 2 is mac and cheese. You can't go wrong. 3 is apple pie, my favorite dessert. 4, I think you go back to turkey. You go to white meat. And 5, this one slept on, but I'm going to go rolls. Why? You always want to have it on your plate, right? You always tell yourself, don't fill up on bread and cheese before the big meal. Rolls is one of my guilty pleasure. It's that great. I think I know I'm leaving off some things like gravy and cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes. I don't like any of that stuff. It's unpopular opinion, but it's my opinion. All right, those are my Thanksgiving food power rankings. I'm going to sign off. Enjoy the rest of your day. Go Team USA. Clear this ball out. There we go. And I will see you guys later with more Browns news and rumors.